The Illuminati numbers are 3 and 6. Illuminati numbers 3 and 6 are for the Cardinals, and they're going to be in the Super Bowl. So if you guys didn't miss that, if you missed that person who was trolling the thread and trying to get people to go for the Cardinals, please check that out. The reason they're doing this is because I'm on point, and they're trying to mock me, they're trying to manipulate me, and they're trying to manipulate the people who follow this channel. All right, next we're going to look at the Broncos and the Patriots game. Okay, so the other game was the Broncos and the Patriots. And as I said, 38 was the number of focus. Throughout the majority of the season, I thought that the Super Bowl being on February 7th, the 38th day of the year, was a lock for the Broncos because Colorado's the 38th state, and in Gematria, Colorado equals 38 the small way and 83 the big way. Football equals 83. John Elway, drafted in 83. I second-guessed myself last week because Tom Brady was in Super Bowl 38 against the Panthers, and he's currently 38 years old. With regards to the 38s, again, the sum of the score is 20-18, a sum of 38 points. Peyton Manning's favorite word is Omaha. Omaha also has this gematria of 38. Do you remember a couple years ago when Peyton Manning was having this Omaha contest and a fertilizer plant blew up in Omaha? Very weird story. Part of the things I see with the scripting of sports and mainstream media stories. Peyton Manning having an Omaha contest and all of a sudden a plant in Omaha blows up. Anyhow, 38, the number of significance, the number I was talking about, and lo and behold, the score finishes at a combined 38 points. My point in my work is to wake people up to the significance of these numbers and how things are scripted by these numbers, from news stories to sports. I can't emphasize it enough. I'm a broken record. I always say, sometimes I'm going to get my predictions wrong and read the script wrong. This year, I got it right and wrong because I went against what I said. Back in October, there was a story of a weird crash at Glendale, California, at the exit for Colorado Street. We'll look at that at the end. But ever since that story came out, I thought that that was a tip for a Broncos Super Bowl, and we can now rest assured that's exactly what it was. So anyhow, Colorado, 38th state, gematria of 38, Omaha, 38, Tom Brady, 38 years old, and the opponent, Panthers, also has gematria of 38. Sports by the numbers. Peyton Manning finished the game with 32 passing attempts, 17 of 32. It was the 17th matchup all time between Brady and Manning. 17-week season in the NFL. Words such as Mason and God have gematria of 17. 17 for 32. And Denver and Broncos both have gematria of 32. Broncos is also 41 with the S exception. They won at home yesterday on a date with 41 numerology, and they ended the Deflate Gators. Deflategate has the gematria of 41 as well, just like Super Bowl the small way. Notice how Super Bowl with the S exception is also 50. San Francisco's 50, hosting Super Bowl. This is a big Super Bowl upcoming. At the end of the game, the announcers were making a big deal about how Belichick probably made a bad coaching decision by not kicking a field goal with about 5.5 minutes that came back to haunt him. The reason they didn't, Truth Seeker, is because the games are scripted. He knew he couldn't kick the field goal then because then there would have been no way for the sum of the game to be 20-18. They execute by a script, which is so evident once you recognize the code. Rob Gronkowski's final touchdown that made it 20-18 shouldn't even have counted. He didn't even establish himself after going out of bounds, which is a rule in the NFL. The refs didn't look at it, the announcers didn't talk about it, and they didn't show the replay because they know the fans would have caught on. The Bronco on the field who was playing defense was freaking out because he knew that he didn't establish himself. He jumped in from out of bounds to catch the touchdown to make it 20-18. But the reason it didn't matter is because the script was in, and this is how the script was written. The league is a joke. The league is a joke. And just think about this, dumping all this confetti for a big rig sport. I mean, it's just so wasteful. It's just so disgusting once you recognize it. At halftime, there was a major clue that it was in for the Broncos. Peyton Manning had 122 passing yards at the half. No coincidence. The team had 39 rushing yards. Manning's 39 years old. Remember, San Francisco equals 122. The big way. 50 the small way. You know when I knew the game was over and when I shouldn't have second-guessed myself, truth seeker? On the very first touchdown of the game, the very first drive, when number 18 in his 18th season, the Super Bowl will be played on a date with 18 numerology. His first touchdown pass went to the 33-year-old Owen Daniels, who wears the number 81, the reflection of 18. And when you add 18 and 81 together, it sums to 99. The Broncos last won the Super Bowl with Elway, Super Bowl 33, on January 31st, 1999. It might have also been a tribute to the Patriots who they were playing, because Patriot equals 99, Tom Brady, the 199th pick out of Michigan. The drive was 83 yards long, the first drive of the game in Colorado. Colorado's 83, football's 83. Peyton Manning born on the 83rd day of the year. Drive that starts at the 17 when it's the 17th matchup between Brady and Manning. Another football number. Owen Daniels, he looked really old out there for 33 years old. The guy's a year older than me. He's got a gray beard, gray hair. If anyone saw the game yesterday, long gray hair with a gray beard, it was like, wow, I think you've been using the human growth hormone, dude. Something's got you aging. But when I saw this, number 18 to 81, I thought, man, how scripted. It's in it. It's in the bag for the Broncos. Then what tripped me out, though, is the Patriots came back down the field and scored with Steven Jackson, a former star of the NFL and college football, running back. I didn't even know he was on the Patriots. But Steven Jackson, his whole career, has been all about the number 39, a major athlete for Nike, doing a lot of Nike advertisements back in the day. A lot of you can probably recall that Steven Jackson, Troy Polamalu football commercial that was popular for years. Anyhow, Steven Jackson, big on the number 39. He's also an artist, a painter. He signs all of his artwork with the number 39. Nike equals 39, the reflection of 93. Nike's symbol is a Saturn swoosh. Remember, Saturn equals 93. We talked about that with the Panthers. The 93 establishment year. Cam Newton being born on May 11th, also corresponding with Saturn. I should have mentioned that Bob Marley, the musician, the name Bob Marley equals 93. Bob Marley died May 11th in history. Numbers that correspond with Saturn. Whole lot more to Bob Marley, but just showing you these numbers are significant. And of course, Manning's 39 years old, a big number on the year as well. The Patriots were also in their 55th year of existence. Anyhow, Manning's next touchdown was another pass to Owen Daniels. The first one was a wide open 21-yard touchdown over the middle. The next one was a lame duck 12-yard touchdown. So 21 yards, 12 yards, a sum of 33 yards on the two touchdown passes from 18 to 81. Remember, 12 plus 21 is 33. The Broncos last won Super Bowl 33 in 99. These touchdown passes were that scripting. And if I had to guess today who's going to win the Super Bowl, I think it's going to be the Broncos. The majority of the nation will bet on the Panthers because the Panthers look dominant. The Broncos with Manning look washed up. The majority of sports fans are probably thinking the Broncos have no way of winning. But I think the NFL has one last tribute in their script. I'm not completely convinced on that. Manning does lose a lot in the big game. I'll be doing a video later this week confirming who I think is going to win the Super Bowl. But right now, my instincts tell me that they're going to give Manning the Super Bowl win tribute. We'll see. Owen Daniels. Last time Owen Daniels caught two touchdown passes, he was with the Ravens. It was week 2 of the 2014 season against the Steelers. So, this guy hasn't done anything like this, and then he opens it up with 2 touchdowns. The second touchdown was a very embarrassing pass, exposing how washed up Manning was. He threw a wobbler, what they call a lame duck, floating through the air. Doesn't matter when the script's in, though, truth seeker. Also, ESPN had this. Owen Daniels had just 3 receiving touchdowns in the regular season, but the Broncos tight end has 2 today, giving Denver a 14-6 lead. And that also reminds me that New England's kicker purposefully shanked the 33-yard extra point to keep the score 7-6 or 6-7. Remember, first Super Bowl played at the end of the 66 season in the year 67 between the Packers and Chiefs on a date with 83 numerology, the football number. After that touchdown, Brady threw a purposeful interception. Or actually, it was just before that touchdown. He threw it with 4:08 left on the clock. Denver in English gematria equals 4:08. I really think it was synced up by the time. He also threw it so it was right at the 18-yard line. Or excuse me, this is after. He threw a purposeful interception before this, too, that was right at the 18-yard line that set up the second touchdown for Owen Daniels. And again, Manning is in his 18th season. The Super Bowl's on a date with 18 numerology. He wears the number 18. It's just a joke the way they script it by the numbers. And once you know this, it's easy to see how they're executing. Both of Brady's interceptions early were on purpose, just as Russell Wilson's were a week ago. Just as Carson Palmer's were yesterday, lofting him up for the defender. These guys get paid millions of dollars to deceive their fans and waste everybody's time. That's why it's sick. Gostkowski for New England knocked in a 46-yard field goal to make the score 9-14. I don't think that was any coincidence. Remember, that's the big number. 46th Super Bowl of the modern era this year. Chicago 46. Patriots lost 46-10 to Ron Rivera's Bears in the 85-86 season. At halftime, the score was 17-9, a combined 26 points. The final score of the half was a 52-yard field goal by McManus of the Broncos. Remember, the Super Bowl's in California this year. California has gematria 52. That's Super Bowl 33, the last one the Broncos won, played on a date with 33 numerology, also a date with 131 numerology. Everything was lining up nicely for the Broncos. And with regards to the score summing to 26, the Broncos last being in Super Bowl 33, the shape of the football is a spiritual symbol. In Christianity, the symbol of the football is known as the mandorla. It's often painted around pictures of Jesus Christ. Mandorla has gematria of 33. In astrology, that symbol is known as the Pisces. It's often shown as a fish, also representing Christianity, where we live in the age of Pisces. Pisces has the gematria of 26, the God number, like the sum of yesterday's game at halftime. The words God and Mason have connections to these numbers, 17 and 26. The Masons, the keepers of knowledge in this world, pride themselves on being reflections of God. None of this is arbitrary, truth seeker. When the Broncos went up 20-12 on another 31-yard field goal, what stood out to me was the sum of 32. Denver equals 32. Broncos equals 32. NFL equals 32. America equals 32. The NFL calls itself America's game. He had a 52-yard field goal and a 31-yard field goal at this point. The only field goals he would make, a sum of 83 yards. Again, Colorado and football equal 83. John Elway drafted in 83. The owner of the team. A fellow subscriber pointed this out to me before the game. November 11th, 2012, the last time the Broncos and Panthers met. The Panthers lost 36-14, a sum of 50 points. Likely a tribute years ago that these teams would meet in Super Bowl 50. I actually mentioned this in earlier videos too, and I should have stuck with it, because I saw this as the Super Bowl initially. I went against my gut and substituted the Patriots for the Broncos. My fault. Happy to admit my mistakes. People were also making a big deal about Ed Hockley's record with the Broncos and the Patriots and how the Broncos were undefeated with Hockley since 2008. I noticed before the game that if New England lost with Hockley again,